Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerdy Brigade. With me, I have.
Diani.
Scott.
And Brody.
Welcome back to another episode of the Global Tier List podcast. And we just finished watching Solo today, and let's get our raw reviews out of the way and see where it places on the tier list. Let's get going. So, Scotty Boy is up first, so hope you enjoy.
Hooray! So I have probably not too much to say. I think this movie is a pretty good movie. I like, for the most part, I like the characters. I like the main plot line, and the pacing of the movie is fantastic. I mean, I was never bored, but it was also not like fucking breakneck flying through shit like the second prequel was. I don't remember what that's called. But it moved very well. I think the characters for the most part were good. I liked Lando quite a bit. But I also thought what was his name? Beckett. I thought he was pretty good. I liked the whole like Raider crew gang, like Beckett and then the four-armed guy and then Beckett's fucking grill. I thought they were pretty good. Would have been cool if they would have made it through, but I also think that the way they died like worked pretty well for the movie. That being said, like the main plot line is pretty strong and it works well. The main characters are good. It feels like there's a lot of weird side like characters and references and plots that are kind of thrown in, like the Donald Glover's big titty droid GF is like feels like it's supposed to be important or something we care about, but it's kind of just like thrown in there and doesn't matter all that much. There were two other ones. One of them is the Raiders, the gang of Raiders, that just like show up at the end and be like, we are actually good guys and we don't want to fuck shit up, but we just fuck shit up for fun. That feels kind of stupid, kind of unnecessary. It doesn't really seem to add anything. I mean, I guess it sets up the whole final like stage off scene, but it doesn't. I don't feel like that's like a necessary addition. There was definitely another one. It seems to have escaped my mind. Maybe I'll remember it later. But it seems to have several of those weird kind of like offshoot characters that seem like they're supposed to have a meaning that aren't given time to develop, and I'm glad because like they don't. I don't think that they deserve the time to like. It's a solo movie, and then they just kind of like take time from it, which is I don't know. Found that kind of weird. Solo himself, I don't really like him. I know like the whole character of Han Solo is like the cocky, like ragtag, whatever. Like we know what he is. But the guy in this movie is just so like frustratingly smug all the time, and it's not like Han Solo kind of smug where he's like being like the asshole, like seeing it, like thinking he's all in control and like being the bad boy. No, this guy like gives me serious like little shit sixth grader vibes. Like I don't know, he's so like smug and cocky and like frustrating, but not in an appealing or endearing way. It's just like, man, shut the fuck up. So I wish that was done better. And when he's not being like that, he's just like emanating pure sexual tension. Every time he like gets close to another character, he fucking takes a shower with Chewbacca. He has an intense sex stare with Lando. And when he's talking to I think Beckett, like closer to the end, what the fuck? I don't really like Han all that much, which is a shame because I think the rest of the movie is pretty darn solid. And then the focus of the movie is kind of not that good. Which is too bad. But beyond that, I don't really have. The other fucking offshoot character slash reference thing was that Darth Maul reference at the end, which is like, I guess Donnie said it ties into Rebels, but nobody watches. Nobody like that's stupid shit. And it doesn't really. It like Tyler said, it raises more questions than it actually like answers, or it doesn't really like wrap up any loose ends. It just creates more, which is really frustrating, especially since it's at the end of the movie, because it's almost cliffhanger style, but it's like a cliffhanger into something that's already answered, but that you're not going to go watch because it's not even worth watching. Like, it's a weird paradox that is kind of stupid. Yeah, beyond that, I think the movie's pretty good. I like the plot. I like the visuals. I like how it's like creative without going too far away from the Star Wars. Like, it's still Star Wars, and you can tell. I think it could do well. No, I like the aesthetic. The music is good. That's just kind of like a Star Wars staple. I don't think that's ever going to be in question. I don't really have much else to say. Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid movie plot wise and most of the characters wise. I think everything works well for the most part. I think it's paced out well. I think it does what it's meant to do pretty well. I just wish Solo was a lot less annoying. And then this movie would be pretty big in my brain. But as it is right now, I think I'm gonna put it somewhere high B tier. I could go anywhere from the top of B tier to right above Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith's in C tier.
Or what's that movie? The Force Awakens. My bad. Just put it below Pacific Rim for now, and then we'll see what happens. So actually, Tyler, you said you rolled it, right? So you're next. All right.
Alrighty. I should apologize for how I'm about to talk, because I feel very frantic, because I disagree so heavily with Scott's current placement right now. To me, this film is so utterly and painfully average that it kills me. Solo as a film is just not that very interesting to me for a whole lot of reasons. First and foremost, I don't like Solo in this movie. I think Scott really embodied it when I said that he feels like a sixth grader. He's so fucking childish in this film. Whenever somebody talks to his girl, he's like, well, hey, big guy. Like, it's not intimidating at all. He sounds like a little bitch, like 90% of the time. And when he's like, I'm the best pilot in the world, and everyone's like, all right, man. Or when he's like, yeah, I used to steal shit on my planet. Like, Solo had a lot of charm in the original trilogy because you could tell that this was a guy who really been through some shit, and it's technically true that Solo in this film has been through some shit. I mean, his entire upbringing was pretty shit, but it's just not very engaging because his acting is just so fucking I'm not expecting him to be deathly I don't know what I want from him. I just wish the guy sounded a little bit less like a child majority of the time. I think that was my biggest issue. And again, a lot of his lines are so fucking self-serving or just childish that it doesn't help either. Like every fucking time he talks about being a pilot, it's just I don't give a shit. Sorry. But yeah, I want to get that out of the way because Solo is the name of the movie and he's not a very good protagonist for a majority of it. The female love interest is completely fucking wasted. I don't understand what her arc was going to be, and then she just kind of pisses off at the end of the movie. She is very much not interesting. The fact that she is thrown into the film at the second half is the most absolute coincidence in the world from a plot perspective. Like, holy shit. And she's just not very interesting. She doesn't even do a whole lot in any of the scenes. She doesn't help at all during the piloting scene for the most part. She only does she gets the goddamn circuit out of the big titty droid girl. And then during the ship she brings people in, but I don't know, I just don't care for her at all personally. And I don't find her relationship with Han very engaging because by the time that we see them, they're already fucking making out at the beginning of the film, so I don't care about their chemistry all that much, and then they're separated for a third, and then they're back for the middle portion to the end, and then it's filled with all this shit about she's like committed to like the bad guy or whatever, and she's like, yeah, she's so like self-serving and like she's a strong, independent woman. And that's fine, I guess, but I just don't find her all that engaging because I don't know what the fuck her arc is, or how she really reinforces who Han is as a person. I don't know. I don't find her very interesting all that much. I don't even know what her fucking name is after all. This, I'm kind of going all over the place here because this film, I have a lot to talk about. This is probably the second worst climax in the entirety of Star Wars. This fucking final battle is so pointless to me because it's a fight between fucking a random ass generic mafia dude and Han Solo, who we know isn't going to die because it's a fucking Han Solo prequel movie. We know he's fine, and the worst thing that could happen is that the girlfriend character could die. But she was already marked from death as soon as we first saw her on the screen. Like, oh, Han had a girlfriend before Leia? Well, she's probably fucking dead. And, like, yeah, the biggest plot twist of this movie for me is that she didn't fucking die. But yeah, no, like, it's super fucking, there's, like, it reminds me a lot of, like, the final scene of, like, Enemy of the State, but without any, like, interesting things or tension or, like, cleverness, because like in Enemy of the State, you can see the plan coming to fruition as soon as he walks into that room, and you get the idea of what's gonna happen just from like your own audience intuition. But in this film, just like haha, Uno reverse card, aha, Uno reverse card, aha, Uno reverse card. But like I must have fucking X-ray vision or some shit because I saw all those Uno reverse cards fucking coming. It is not a very interesting climax. It is very boring. I think the antagonist is fucking whack as shit. And it only reinforces the fact that Han Solo is such a childish brat in this film, because every fucking time the antagonist is on screen, he's like, "Oh, that's actually my girlfriend." I'm not a fan. I'm really not. It's definitely it's pretty shit in my opinion. There are good qualities about this film. I think that the aesthetic wise is really, really good. I like the first scene where they meet Chewbacca. In general, I like Chewbacca all throughout the film. Now, this is personal preference. I'm a big fan of robot women. Nice, nice tube ass, girl. Too bad she's in like the movie for like 10 fucking minutes, like even less than that. She's hardly a part of this movie. If she was in it for like a little bit longer, man, S tier. But she hardly gets any screen time, so I don't give a shit. I really don't like Lando in this movie. Like, he is so fucking pointless in this film. He only exists so that he can have his shift robbed from him by Han in this movie. I don't like Childish Gambino's acting. I feel like a lot of the time he's reading his dialogue pretty shit, and I just don't enjoy it, like, in the slightest. He doesn't really help all that much in any of the scenes. He doesn't really have that many cool, interesting moments, especially because the poker scene with him is so fucking pointless, in the first one at the very least. Because in the first one, it doesn't matter. Like, they lose all that money, and then they're just like, oh, by the way, are you gonna ship with us anyways? And he's like, alright. And like, by the way, you're gonna get less and less money as we go on. He's like, alright. Like, Lando's just not very intimidating. He's not very interesting. He just kind of seems like a dumbass throughout this movie, and I don't find that very interesting, because I think Lando in Empire Strikes Back is pretty fucking cool, despite the weird little toilet cape he's got going on there. I don't know what the fuck the guy's name is. It starts with a B. I'm gonna call him Brad. Uh, the other bandit dude that was with Han throughout the majority of the movie. He's the best original character that comes out of this film, in my opinion. I think he's very interesting, even though I couldn't hear what they were saying in the final death scene because I was an idiot and I was talking about Darth Maul at the time, and y'all responded, which is my fault. So I had no idea what the fuck he said during his final moments, but I don't care. It's whatever. I don't need his final moments to be good. I enjoyed him throughout the film, even though like as soon as like, oh yeah, and I got a guy, and I'm like, well, it's the guy who said goodbye like 5 fucking minutes ago, okay? But like, I don't know. It's not very interesting. Like, as soon as he fucking takes Chewbacca, you know his dumbass is dead as shit, because it's like, well, yeah, he can't take Chewbacca, because Han Solo and Chewbacca are together, they have to be together at the end of the movie. But again, I enjoy his character throughout. I think he's acting very, very well, even though I think the script that he's given is kind of poopy. I think that the very first fight scene on the train scene, the music is amazing. I think the aesthetic is very unique, and I think that a lot of interesting things happen in that moment. And I think, like, honestly, the first half of this film is pretty good. I would say, and even I would say, like everything up to the beginning of the Kessel Run is pretty good. And I think there are some cool moments here or there in like the spaceship sequence when Han is flying the Millennium Falcon through the area. Like but it's really not that interesting to me. Like the space half of the Kessel Run, like after he fucking tennis rackets a ship into an asteroid. Everything else is just like, hit the plot MacGuffin into the plot machine and the Falcon. They're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go do it, Han. And then they hit it, and then they have to do another time, and then I'm like, oh yeah, they did the plot shit. Meow. It's not very interesting. I don't really care, because the Millennium Falcon is like it's a giant spaceship. I mean, like, it can do whatever the hell it wants for the most part. And I just don't find it very intriguing. And the tension is completely ruined because I know Han Solo exists in later movies, so I know nothing can go wrong to him. And the only character that dies in that scene died back on the planet, so it doesn't really fucking matter all that much to me. I think it just in general, this film just like permeates with a lack of tension. I think this film would be a lot better if you watched it never watching a different Star Wars movie in your life, cause like then the Darth Maul cliffhanger at the end wouldn't confuse the shit out of you. Then like the fact that this movie seems to like build up to a sequel wouldn't annoy the shit out of you, and the fact that there's like you would actually might have some tension in these scenes because you don't know if Han exists in the rest of these movies or whatever the fuck. But since I have seen all these other movies, it really diminishes what Solo does as a film because I feel like it doesn't really add all that much. I like the idea of Han Solo fighting and like the war shit. I really wish we got to see more of that. I like how again, I've already said this before, but I really, really, really like his first meeting scene with Chewbacca. Excuse me, getting a little heated there. And just in general, I'm a big fan of certain aspects of the film, but the fact that the main protagonist is pretty shit, I don't give any crap about the secondary characters, the antagonist. I don't really care for the plot. I think it's predictable and really stupid. Like Scott already brought up a bunch of mentioned it, but the stupid cliffhangers at the end are unnecessary. I don't care for the Marauder characters because they also feel incredibly unnecessary for like just a stupid Uno reverse card in the climax. I don't like this movie that much. And God, no way in fucking hell is this shit like goddamn top B. Like, you are out of your fucking mind, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this shit is definitely like better or worse than Hitch. I don't know. It depends on how much of an asshole I feel like. I don't know. These are both movies that I feel like fall apart in the final act, but I know I'm never ever gonna have this stick. But you know, Hitch at the very least has a likable protagonist, man. This film, I don't care for Solo at all in this movie. I'm gonna say it's worse than Hitch in C tier. I know I'm not. I know for a damn. I know I ain't getting that placement. No way in hell. Cause y'all are gonna be like, oh, but my shooty McShoot lasers. But man, I really don't like this fucking movie, dude. Like, it's C tier purely off the spectacle and like the fact that there are funny character scenes here and there are good scenes here in general. But man, I think a majority of these characters are really, really shit. I think the plot's pretty meh. I think everything's super predictable and just not that entertaining. I'm not a huge fan of Solo, and I don't think it hits like the popcorn spectacle to truly be a stupid B tier film. I just think it's really goddamn mediocre. I know I am probably at the big disagreement here, so that's enough for me. I'm gonna shut the hell up. I'm gonna pass it to Donnie because I think he's probably has the most to say as a rebuttal to what I just said.
Sure, I guess. I don't know. I thought this movie was okay. I agree that Solo is not that likable, but I don't hate him. He's just not as good as the original. He's just like a shallower copy of, someone that I really like. He was a little more suave, I think. Or at least, or if they did something different with him, like him kind of coming up in the world and learning his place. I don't think you even need him to be a badass in this movie. Like, that's where Lando should have been the badass. Lando should have been fucking groping his girl's ass every chance he got. I don't know. It's like, I feel like they didn't do the characters justice, personally. But that being said, I don't think that knocks this movie down worse than Hitch. Kind of a crazy take there, Tyler. Kind of a crazy one. I think this movie does a lot of cool stuff with the Star Wars universe. The fact that they have the Pike Clan and the Hutts and a lot of stuff that's they really know the universe, and everyone's like saying, "Oh, the jibber jabbers are the big bobs," and I'm like, "Well, those are actual things," and they're referencing stuff that's happened in other material. I think, and I think that's really cool. Um, the more you know about the fucking comics and cartoons and other mediums of Star Wars, the more you can kind of, have fun with this movie. And that's what I think this is. I think it's kind of just dumb fun. I love the war scene because you never get to see the enemy. It doesn't fucking matter because the Empire is just like, fight these random people. We don't care who they are. You're just fighting people, and that's the machine. It's the war machine. And Han escapes that. I think that is a really cool scene to show like how much it doesn't matter who the enemy is, and that they're just fighting to be fighting. I think that's really cool. I think the femoid robot is fun. I like when she starts the revolution. I think that's great. I thought that was enjoyable. I love the old dude. I love the four-armed freakazoid. I love the wife. Um, I don't know. I think there's a lot of good shining moments in this movie. I like the end where Han just shoots him instead of having like a long, breathed out exposition bit. I mean, I think there's valid criticisms of the fucking ending. The ending was just bad. Like, whatever. Like, it was setting up a sequel, and then that just didn't happen. And they tried to give it an ending in Rebels, and that wasn't good. By the way, I'll elaborate on basically what happens. Maul uses the, like, he basically is a crime boss and uses his funds to find and locate some dark magic crystal, but the Empire is also after that. And, they collide, and Maul ends up going with the fucking kid Jedi that's in the show, and then he dies to Obi-Wan. So that's all you're missing. Not a lot. Kind of a bitch way to die, anyway. I don't know. The movie's fine. It's just fine. Of a movie. I mean, do I think it pissed on the original characters? No. Do I think that it lived up to what it should have done? Not really. But, overall, it's got some really good action. Pays tribute to the universe. That's all I want. It's okay. I don't think it's as fun as Force Awakens, but I just think, Oh, frick. I think the page is not loading. Oh, no, never mind. I don't know. I could put this anywhere. I don't really think. I think I'd put this right about here. Alright. Brody, save the best opinion for last, the most correct opinion. Bon voyage.
Oh boy. I don't know about this movie, man. Like, the first half is a good half, and you got some characters who are actually kind of interesting, but like, dude, they have this weird thing in this movie, and it's a little weird thing that they do where they'll introduce a character, and then 10 minutes later, wham, they're dead. Happened with the first two smugglers that we're introduced to. Happens to Lando's robot Giep. I mean, I'm trying to think of more. Whatever, I'll get back to that if I think of more. But I have this one thing on my mind that I really wanted to say. The love interest, right? From the beginning, like of when we like meet her again on you know, shit, dog, on the ship, the new ship. Han meets her like on the new ship. So when that happens, it's kind of obvious that she's like, oh yeah, I'm kind of like with these guys now. And then like later we have the big scene with the tattoo and the robot talking to her about it or whatever, and she's like, I'm committed. And it's like, yeah, we know. And it keeps coming up and up and up like it's a big effing deal. And I really didn't get it. It's like, yeah, we know you're like evil now. Cool arc there, dude. Really wish I saw it or had any idea what happened to you. Like, seriously, they keep alluding to, like, oh, something happened to her. She did something over the years that made her different than what Han last saw. And we really get no explanation. Like I said, well, I didn't say this on like the podcast before, but I said this when we were just watching the movie. They kind of set this. I feel like they kind of set this movie up for a sequel in that they leave a lot of shit just like hanging. Um, I mean, like the girl driving off, Darth Maul being like somewhere in this story, you know, the rebellion starting up, like these are all things that happen at the end of this movie, and we kind of just get let off. I mean, stuff I get are like the rebellion just starting. Yeah, you know, we can't like spend another 30 minutes explaining, but like, you know, I mean, fuck, you know, you really didn't. I don't know. They just throw shit at you last minute. I feel like the Darth Maul thing was totally like not necessary. You could have had anyone else really, and it would have been interesting. But whatever. Um, I like Lando in this movie because I kind of feel like he acts the same way as the original Lando, and this may just be me being tired and really stupid. But I don't know. I liked Donald Glover's performance of Lando in this movie a lot. Um, Contrary to that, did not like Solo. Like all you guys said, he felt really childish. What I kind of wanted to see from him is kind of like I wanted to see him mature, if not just a little bit through the whole film, you know, kind of like learn something. I mean, I guess he does, you know, can't trust nobody or whatever. But like, you know, he still talks like a eighth grader at the end. It kind of sucks. Um, I think the action scenes are really cool. I think the scene where like all the shit goes like batshit at that mine, that's a really cool scene. And the robots like free themselves, that's cool. I feel like it's just a lot of fancy, like they try to wow you in this movie, and I mean it works, you know. It's really good in its like effects and fight scenes and whatnot, but like with some of the characters and some of the points of the plot, it's just like, I don't know. And also like um the rival smugglers, they introduce us to them like not even the first half of the movie, and then bring them back like latter of the last they bring them back in like the end of the last half of the movie, like not even for about maybe like 20 minutes or so. I don't know. It's just all weird choices for this film, I feel. And I can be totally wrong about all of this because I am not one to talk about most Star Wars films because I see explosion, I clap like a little monkey. I definitely think this is C tier, below Snap. There we go.
It didn't accept your. It
C
was.
tier, above Hitch.
It didn't accept your placement. It said death tiered placement.
Yeah. I don't know. I might just throw out that placement later and like readjust because I always like try. I don't know.
Alright then. Well, I'm gonna say this
Alright.
right now. I fucking 100% agree with you, Brody. I'm 100% fine with that placement. I don't think this movie at all belongs in B tier. Not at all. I mean, it's trying to be a B tier film, but I think it kind of fails at that. Yeah. That's.
Am I the
Well,
only
I
one
think-
who saw
I think-
like the woman was evil from the
No,
beginning?
No, okay. Well, not even. What the fuck was the point of her? I don't really get what she does in this
Me
film.
neither.
What does she do? What does she add? Also, Donnie, all the like besides the old man character that I liked too, all the other characters that you were talking about had like 5 minutes of screen time. Like the good characters in the movie are just wasted very quickly. In
You
Lando,
don't think Lando's
killed.
good?
I don't think Lando's good at all. He's such a bitch in
Really?
this film. He just doesn't do anything. He just
I thought
kind of.
Lando's a
that's the point
bitch
of
in
him,
general.
though.
That's his character.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, well then he's not a. I don't like him as a character. Then if he just
He
sits
isn't
around and
likable,
doesn't
yeah.
do
But
anything.
you liked him in.
Because he wasn't
what's
like
it
that.
called?
He was a
Rainbow
big
Six.
man who did shit and he fought back. In this film, Lando was just kind of on his ass getting pushed
Yeah.
around by everybody in this movie.
Yeah, he needed to be a little more, I think, suave. In
Like,
my opinion, he
You know,
didn't,
I agree
he
with
didn't
that.
exude that energy, and I think of all people, Childish Gambino should have been.
Yeah, exactly.
man
What
to
the?
do it.
I don't like. Yeah, I don't. Maybe it's more.
Childish, like if Childish Gambino just was himself, it would have been better. Than this.
Yeah, little. I don't like how Lando is such a bitch in this movie. I don't like how Solo is kind of childish. Like I don't hate Solo in this movie. I wasn't like repulsed at his very inclusion. But this ain't Han Solo, man. This shit. Like, why is
No, it's not, and that's what pissed me off about this movie is that it's not right.
Like, why does Han Solo act the exact same way but just brattier at 20? Like what the, like come
Yeah.
on, man. Like he should be a little bit more different. Like have some like
You're
proper
learning the world. I feel like.
I know, but another thing too is like he fights through a war and shit like that and he has like no angst or whatever. I thought
He's
it would have been
unfazed.
I thought it would have been very interesting to have Han Solo grow into more of like a carefree personality over the course of a film, but he's just like the same throughout the entire movie. And like
Yeah.
I don't really get what lesson he gets from his girlfriend dropping on him because I don't know what the fuck their dynamic was, and I don't think he. Another thing too, the antagonist is so fucking boring in this movie. He's like Jabba, but even fucking lamer somehow. Like he's the lamest fucking mob boss.
Because
in
he's
the-
just a white dude with
He's
a
just a
cut
white
on
dude.
his
He's just a
face.
white dude with 1,000-degree knives, and like I just don't give a shit. He's so fucking stupid.
I think the girlfriend being the bad guy would have been cool.
Oh, yeah,
if
no, I
she
would-
was if she
But
was like,
wasn't
fuck you for
really a
leaving
bad
me.
guy.
You abandoned me. I made my own way, and now you're
Yeah, if
gonna
she
fucking
was
pay
like a
for it.
cool
Even if
twist
she would have been
villain like
completely
that.
illogical, but she's just wasted. Just almost all the characters in
Yeah,
this
no.
movie are
I mean,
wasted.
she
I
is.
don't know.
She is still kind of a twist villain, but she's like a boring one that does nothing.
Well, yeah, well,
I
cause
don't know.
And it's
I,
not
Is she
even a
even a
twist.
villain?
yeah, is she even a villain? Like fucking, I'm not saying that there aren't enjoyable aspects of this film. Again, there are 2 fight scenes that I really enjoy, but 2 fight scenes does not make a good B tier. And even then,
think-
what?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I don't think 2 good fight scenes make a good B tier when most of the characters that I enjoy don't have enough screen time, and the most of the characters I don't enjoy don't have enough screen time. This film just doesn't.
Or-
Solo just like Rogue One is a very good addition to the story. You do not need to watch Solo. This film adds nothing. It takes away from the trilogy a little bit, to be honest with you. Like you could watch like the scene of him meeting Chewbacca, and boom, that's like the only scene that I think you would need to watch from Solo, and that would
Yeah.
be cool. Like it's just not needed, man. This movie doesn't. I don't like Han Solo. I like him a little bit less because of this film, especially because how sequels treated him too. He's only fucking good in the original trilogy. I don't like
And
this movie. It's not B tier.
I-
Yeah, keep going, Brody.
I think something that I've kind of like noticed that we all kind of think is that this movie raises way too many like questions that they just, or at least I feel like we were all thinking this.
I mean, yeah,
is
no, I
this
don't like.
film
Yeah, I don't like
fucking
the Darth
raises
Maul shit. Yeah, it's
Ton
whatever.
of questions.
It's a stupid ending. Like, why the fuck? would a film that's trying to be like sort of standalone-ish have like a fucking tie-in for a kids TV show? Like, why the hell
Exactly.
would you do that? And does the don't go on a log tangent, Donnie. Just give me a yes or no here. Does the lady get addressed in some other Star Wars media?
No.
What the fuck?
Mother.
What was the point then?
It's just to say like, oh, Darth Maul's out there. You should go watch that bullshit. And I'm like,
Oh
I
my,
did, and it wasn't good.
I hate this so much.
That's her entire character, just to
I
be
think,
like,
yeah.
I'm so evil, and then at the end,
Not even that
I
she's evil,
showed Darth
she's
Maul.
like, that's whatever. But here's another thing too, Donnie. You brought up the fact that like a lot of this movie has a lot of tie-ins for the world building, and that's like alright. But I think this film also takes away a lot due to the fact that I think like how mediocre a lot of characters are portrayed. Like I didn't want to know Lando was such a bitch. I didn't want to know Han Solo was not that fucking good when he was younger. I didn't want to see Darth Maul again. Like,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just don't think it hits
I guess Lando was a bit of a
fucking
bitch.
like Revenge of the Sith levels of
Well,
you
I
make Darth Vader so cringy as hell.
I
And-
don't even hate him in that movie, to be honest with you. I think honestly, Revenge of the Sith's like worst quality is when the characters are talking. But like it is, like
I don't think you can honestly say that like Revenge of the Sith does. I think Revenge of the Sith does Star Wars characters dirtier than Solo.
I mean, like, does it kind of really? I mean, Anakin's kind of stupid in that movie, and don't get me wrong, his turn is fucking terribly handled. But at least it has a good climax and has good fight scenes throughout the film.
And
that
it
are,
doesn't
like-
leave you with
I
a
mean, like,
million questions.
The final fight against Obi-Wan and Anakin, like, I think patches on
Ah,
almost
okay.
everything that is wrong with Anakin's character. Even if, like, because they're not talking for a majority of it. And when they are talking at the end, it's actually kind of heart-wrenching. I think their final dialogue after the fucking jumping off the cliff shit, or when Obi-Wan gets on that anthill, I think it all works out pretty well, honestly. And Revenge of the Sith also has a lot of good shit too. Like, Anakin's not good in that movie by a long shot, but man, is he... I think he's doing a much better job in that film than any of the other two prequels, and it really shows, honestly.
Well, then you are lost.
I don't know. Revenge of the Sith also has way more memes than Solo. All right, like,
That's true.
it's-
I do like that for that. But then we'd be needing to put King Kong versus Godzilla in B tier.
Yeah, no, it's only for like one placement. I think Solo is a worst film mostly because I had like.
Oh no, I'm talking about this.
Oh yeah, no. I was just saying, I think Solo is definitely a worse film than Revenge of the Sith. Even though Revenge of the Sith probably has like bigger problems, Solo is just like so painfully mediocre to me and so devoid of like attention. Like, man, I was so fucking bored during the space chase scene after a while, and I also
I
was,
love the space chase here.
I was also really fucking bored during the climax. Like, I just didn't give any sort of a shit. I didn't care, mostly because I thought it was really fucking stupid. I don't like Solo all that much, and I'm definitely 100% a fan of its current position. But I could go higher or lower. We're probably going to end up going higher, but that's where I stand.
No, I actually I agree with you.
All right, well then,
I,
solidified C tier it is.
It doesn't it makes me like all of the characters that are in all of the main characters. Not even all of the main characters, just Han. It just makes me like him less. I think the other characters are fine. I think the plot is good, but like it does him so dirty. It just like shits on the character of Han Solo. It's like, man, fuck off.
It never takes
And
me
it's
that-
like the name of the movie too. It's like the one thing you didn't get right.
I know, right? Like, if you make a
Yeah.
Han Solo standalone film, you gotta have like I have nothing against the actor. I really think he was doing a good job. I think they just gave him really shitty lines.
I don't like
I think
the
it was the
actor.
direction of all the
I
characters.
really
in
hate
this
his
film
lines
that
in
sucked.
this film. I hate his lines so goddamn much. I hate every single childish remark he makes in this movie. I hate all of his fucking arrogant shit. Like, I just don't like his lines in this film. He shouldn't be this arrogant yet. There's no reason.
It didn't feel deserved.
It doesn't feel deserved. Why is
Yeah.
he a little shit right now? Like, why? He's been a low time.
And why is he even more of a shit than like when he's older?
Yeah, why? I just, it's not.
I know he's a bitch. He's a little like fucking punt ball. Like
And
he's such
how
an
does he
asshole.
start the rebellion though? Like what?
No, I don't think that's how the rebellion starts. They're just like,
Well,
this
no,
helps,
it's
this
not how the
help-
rebellion
This helps
starts,
the
but he, like-
rebellion. I don't like this movie. I don't want to get into any more nerd rage. That's 3 out of 4 for placement. I think we're good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you guys win.
I'm just curious,
But
Donnie, where would you
this,
place it?
I think where I put it originally, right here, is where I would put it.
I had way more stupid fun with G versus K. That's why I say. But yeah, no. Alrighty then.
I just think that film is just. Alright, I don't think. Eh,
It's a hard take with that one, but it's whatever.
I think this one is just not. I don't like how it treats my Darth Vader, and my
My
Obi
poor
Wan,
baby.
my poor Yoder, and I think that Godzilla vs Kong, it just has better characters in that movie, and I don't like the action scenes as much as that movie, and I think this one's just so cheesy, so that's why I would put it above those. But that's my opinion. I'm
Alrighty.
heading out.
Okay then.
See ya, loyal viewers.
Yeah, see you for the next one, which is the last fucking Star Wars movie.
Ooh.
Rise of Skywalker or some shit.
Yeah,
Alright.
it has no Skywalker in that movie, but
That's
it's crazy.
amazing. Just curious. I want to see everyone's predictions right now. Hit me with your prediction, Donnie.
Uh, uh,
Below Collateral Beauty?
yeah.
That's
I don't know how far below I'd go.
Brody, what's your prediction?
I think I'd go right
Below
there.
Suicide Squad.
Ooh. Jeez. Scotty?
Above Beggar Vance.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Interesting. You know, I'll agree with Scotty's opinion. I don't think there's. It's possible. Don't get me wrong, but man, for it to drop from Last Jedi to drop even farther, like that's crazy. Like holy fuck. Like
Okay.
I can already see Palpatine's little face up there at the top, and I trust me, I know it's gonna be a little stupidity, but I'm just glad that this is the last fucking time we're gonna have to do any of this stupid nerd rage, and then I never have to talk about Star Wars ever again. Man, I'm really excited for that one. But alright,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you all for the next one then. Bye bye!
Make
Bye.
sure to like that bell.